I gotta be honest. I hope that I never have to live in the United States ever again. Sounds very escapism, sounds very anti-American. It sounds like it's gonna piss some people off to hear that. And I'm okay with it, but I wanna explain why. I quit my job in January. We moved out of our house in February. And since February, we've been traveling, and we've been in Southeast Asia for about a month and a half now. It's crazy how quick time goes. But we've been to Cambodia, we've been to Thailand, and we went to Vietnam in Da Nang, and now we're in Bali. And in about a week and a half, we're gonna be in Malaysia. And I gotta say that I was skeptical. I was skeptical when everyone was saying how cheap it is and how lovely all the people are and how safe everything is. And I see it now. I see it, and I can't believe that I was ever worried about coming out here. And I can't believe how behind we are in a lot of things in the US. And I can't believe how brainwashed we are. And then that sounds bad. It sounds, like I said, anti-American. It sounds like I'm trying to talk this up, but I'm not. I'm just trying to share my experience and what it's been so far for me and my family. First of all, I got to talk about the cost of living. And I understand that I have American dollar. I get that my money really goes a lot further here and that there's poverty. And because I come from a country that has a strong currency, I am able to live nicer than people that are from here. I get all that. So I don't need to hear that part of it. But it just goes to show you that for like groceries and food and housing, why are things so goddamn expensive in America? A watermelon at Costco was like $10 when we left Washington State. And here, I buy a watermelon for $2. Why? I know there's economics involved in it, all that stuff, and I know that there are people that will argue that is just the price of things because of our economy being so much stronger. But then you go and you think about how much food waste there is in the US and how much of it is really more like corporate greed rather than inflation. And it goes to just show you how we're just convinced that our country is so great. And there are great things about America, because I couldn't be saying this if I was from other countries that didn't allow you to speak poorly about your country. So I do appreciate some of those aspects of America. But at the same time, it's not just the cost of living and the cost of food. My wife and I, we took the kids out yesterday for Mother's Day. We went to the zoo, and the zoo was awesome. It was total for us to get in about like $65 USD. And then when we went in there, I was just so surprised how much it was for food and beverage and some of the souvenirs. We didn't buy any souvenirs, but the food and beverage was so reasonable that my wife and I were laughing about how much it would have cost us in Washington to go to like the Seattle, it's not the Seattle Zoo, but it's I can't think of it off the top of my head. But there's a zoo, and then there's like the Northwest Trek, and there's museums and stuff in Washington that we've gone to. And it would have cost us $60 a person. It cost our family $60 total to get into the Bali Zoo. And then when we had lunch, it cost us like $10. We ordered a pizza for the kids. My wife and I ordered some little like teriyaki bowls. We all had drinks. We ended up having some gelato afterwards. And it was like $10. In America, when you go somewhere that's like an amusement park, it's almost like an excuse for them to price gouge you. And it seems like they don't do that here. I've noticed it in multiple places, not just in Bali. When we went to Vietnam, we went to a water park there. The water park tickets were reasonable. It ended up being like, I don't know, like 10 to 20 bucks a person. The kids were a little cheaper than the adults, but that's about what it was average. So let's just say like 15 bucks. So another like $60 to get in. And it might've been cheaper than that. But then when we got in there, same thing. All the stuff in there was very reasonable in price. We didn't have to pay $10 for a soda, and we didn't have to pay $20 for a salad for lunch. Our money just went so much further. And I feel like I can rant about the cost of living and how expensive everything is in America and how it feels like your money doesn't go anywhere. And it feels like you're just poor. I've made videos talking about making $100,000 a year, making $150,000 a year and feeling broke. And now I'm making substantially less and I feel comfortable. But beyond that, another reason why I don't really want to go back is because people are not nice in the United States. Again, maybe it's where I was from. Seattle, Washington area is known for the Seattle freeze, where everyone is just not nice, doesn't talk, whatever. I'm sure if I went to some podunk town in the Midwest, Betty from next door would bake me cookies and be super nice to me and want to be in all of my business and know what's going on. But that's not really the case in most big cities in the United States. The truth is that we're too busy. We got too much going on. We've got work, we've got soccer practice, we've got recitals, we've got things we got to go do. We got errands we got to run. We got to buy groceries and clean the house and all that stuff. And it feels like people in the US have no time for anyone. It feels like it's very hard to find genuinely nice people. And I don't know why that is, because I've had friends that are super cool, but in general, it doesn't feel like people are just nice in the US. And then being here in Asia, and it's not just like shopkeepers and people who are trying to do business with us. It's people just on the street, people at the beach, people that are local, people that are also expats and just tourists. And everyone we've met has been super nice. I have honestly not seen anyone pissed off. In a month and a half of being in all of these different countries, I have not seen any fights. I have not seen people arguing. I have not seen anything that I am used to seeing in the US. It's so weird, and I swear it sounds like I'm full of shit. You're like, how have people not been arguing? How have people been so nice? I don't know. It just really seems like maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe I don't understand what some people are saying when they're talking to each other and they are fighting, but reading body language and seeing how people are interacting, it really feels like everybody's super nice. And they're super nice to us. They're so nice to my kids. In the US, it feels like kids are a nuisance. It feels like kids are treated as like, sit down, shut up, stay out of the way, don't talk, be quiet, all that stuff. And here, everybody is so nice to our kids. My kids get so many compliments. It's funny because they're not used to it. They get praised from random strangers. They get given toys and treats and candy and just they're treated like kids. They're treated like they're welcomed. Even like the airports here, the stores, they have playgrounds. They really think about the kids a lot here. And I don't remember that in the US. I mean, in Washington, playgrounds, you got to be careful because there's 100 homeless people sleeping there, and there's people doing heroin and fentanyl and smoking meth on the park bench, and you got to be worried that your kid's going to step on a hypodermic needle or something. And that's another thing here. While there's some trash, Southeast Asia is known for their plastic waste. That's not a secret. Things can be a little dirty here. And while we've seen some of that, while there's some plastic and some waste on the beach and on the streets, it still seems like people really take care of their stuff here. Something I noticed everyone does in every Asian country I've been to, they clean the sidewalks, they sweep up every day, they really keep their stuff tidy. And I think that a lot of the plastic waste is just a byproduct of consumerism. And I feel that a lot of people here, from what I've seen, really try their best to be clean. I haven't seen someone litter. I haven't seen people be, trashy in the US. I can't tell you how many times in the United States I've gone to a parking lot and people have just left their fast food bags where their car was parked. You can obviously tell like somebody opened their door and just dumped all their stuff there. And I'll say for Southeast Asia being known for their plastic waste and all that stuff, I feel like it's cleaner here than it has been in the US. And I never once have had to worry that my kids might find drugs or a needle on the floor in a playground or on the beach. And I only say that because this has happened. My family and I used to carry Narcan in our car, not because we want to save someone from ODing, because we were worried that my kids might pick up some fentanyl or something because they have found baggies with meth in them and drugs in them. Like, my kids have found bags of drugs at the park. I remember we were camping and the kids said the word beetle because they saw like a big beetle, and almost every parent from around the park that was there when they heard it went running because they were worried that their kids said needle. It's crazy. We don't have to worry about that here. I haven't seen vagrants. I haven't seen drug addicts on the street. I haven't seen people begging outside of the gas station. I've seen a few people who are obviously in bad circumstances. People with deformities, people with missing limbs, people that are blind, ask for money. And they do have a bit of like kids trying to hustle for money. Like if you go to Mexico, you see that where kids are like selling stuff to try to make money. Like that's a reality of being here. But the homelessness and the drugs that we have in America, that problem isn't here. It doesn't exist here. People might be poor here, but they still have like a home and a place to sleep. It's crazy and it's mind-boggling because it just goes to show you like we can't get that stuff fixed and figured out in the first world country, in the greatest country of the world, America. We have a terrible homeless problem and we have a terrible drug epidemic. And I don't see that here. I have not once in the last month and a half felt unsafe. When you come out here, everyone tells you be careful of pickpockets, be careful of getting mugged, be careful of dangers that you might come across when you're traveling here in Asia, because those things could happen. And I've been in Bangkok, which is a massive city. Cambodia, we went to Siem Reap, it was kind of smaller. Da Nang was a pretty big city, and here in Bali it's kind of chill, so I haven't felt anything like the presence of a pickpocket or a group of untrusting, shisty looking individuals that are going to try to like rob you or anything like that. Like a good indicator of something being safe is usually like seeing single women walking by themselves. And I've seen that in every place I've been to at all hours of the day, from in the evening to the early mornings. Like, it's safe. And I'm not stupid. I know that there's bad places everywhere, but we just haven't seen it. And it feels nice because it's one of the things that I don't feel in the US anymore. Like, I never feel safe. A firework went off and my wife and my kids and I jumped. And my wife and I thought the same exact thing. We were like, man, you can tell who the Americans are because when they hear a loud bang, they start ducking. That feeling of being in a crowded place and having to worry about a mass shooting is one of the best feelings to not have to deal with anymore. And I know it's stupid. I know that mass shooting percentage-wise aren't that common. I lived in Vegas when October 1st happened. That went down at the Mandalay Bay. And I know that it's not that common, but it's really nice to not have to worry about that. And I feel like I've talked about cost of living. I feel like I've talked about how nice people are. I feel like I talked about the safety. And all of those are reasons why I don't think I can go back. Of course, we're gonna go back and visit people, but the quality of life, it's just so much better here. And it felt like that in Portugal too. So it's not just Southeast Asia. It seems like everywhere we go, it feels better than the US. And the more we travel and the longer we're here, my wife and I keep telling each other, we can't go back. There's no going back. We can't do it. It doesn't make sense to go back. And I really don't think that we will. And I just wanted to share that. That's all I got to say. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.